The Peacekeeper is an assault rifle. It's that simple. And it keeps the peace only in the sense that if it had been anything less than an assault rifle, a lot of little kids would have been really upset. You know, I'd hoped, and sort of expected really, that the new weapon would be sort of unusual. To be frank, I was expecting like a real high fire rate or something like that. And I'm not sure why, but my thinking was this game already had an SMG to fill every genre, quote unquote. Every Call of Duty has a couple of slots that need to be filled. You know, you have your high damage recoil gun, which is the Scorpion now. It was the Kypris in Black Ops 1. Low recoil, low damage, which was the Spectre previously, and is now supposed to be the MSMC, I think. But I don't think anyone can tell that it's low damage. And so I was expecting something totally out there, but in retrospect, that was very naive of me. Of course, the DLC gun that people pay actual money for is going to be easy to use. And if they made it, if they made it anything else, it wouldn't be that easy to use. And if it had been unusual, it would have probably been difficult to use. And if they had said the new DLC gun was an assault rifle, this is exactly what I would have expected. I think they called it an SMG for marketing purposes. SMG sounds more exciting than assault rifle. You know it's true. What I forgot is that they can call it one thing and then make it something completely different. And don't get me wrong, it is a good gun, but it's low damage, slow fire rate, which means it's basically going to fail in every situation you would typically feel comfortable using an SMG. So the thing is, it's a decent weapon, but it's not better than other SMGs, like the MSMC or the PDW or the MP7, and it is definitely not better than assault rifles like the AN-94 or the Type 25. And so it just sort of ends up being this sort of redundant, irrelevant weapon. But it is very easy to pick up because it's easy to use, and that's what they were going for, I'm sure. And what this means is that a lot of people are going to give the gun more praise than it deserves, mistaking ease of use for quality of weapon. But that could just be me. I'm not trying to bash anyone, but for me, what it comes down to is what separates the AR from the SMG is the distance at which the gun is effective, which is what I thought it was for everyone. And sometimes that line can be blurred, but frankly, the Peacekeeper doesn't blur it. The Peacekeeper sits very comfortably in my assault rifle category. Alright? And I'm sure that if you had not called an SMG, if you had just left that blank and then you'd given it to like, a focus group of like 100 people, and you would have been like, you'd let them use it and you'd been like, what kind of gun do you think this is? They would have said assault rifle. If you do use this gun, try out rapid fire long barrel, which is something I've discovered a few matches after this match, and then this gun is an SMG, and it's a pretty decent one. Now, I'm not saying I don't like the gun. I do like the gun. I just don't think it's an SMG. That's my only criticism. I think it would be a decent assault rifle. I think they should have called it assault rifle. That's all I'm saying. Now, with the map pack itself, in its entirety, I am very, very fond. I like the maps Grind and Downhill, which is funny. Those are the kind of maps that are like, this game has a lot of maps where it's like you want to hang out there, right? Like Hijack. When I'm on Hijack, sometimes I'll die because I'll get distracted thinking, oh, I wish I could, come hang out in that jacuzzi, in the mini bar, and watch the Super Bowl. Maps like Raid, I'm like, man, I want to snort that cocaine, watch the Super Bowl. Why are we fighting? Why don't we all just pass around the cocaine lines, watch the Super Bowl? So, I like Grind, I like Downhill. Grind is obviously, it's a skateboard park, so of course you want to hang out there. Downhill is snowboard park, so obviously you want to hang out there. I wonder if they're trying to appeal to athletes or something. I'm not a big fan of Hydro. It falls in that category of like Spawn Trap or Be Spawn Trapped, which is something I've talked about with maps like Slums or Hijacked, where it's basically you're in your spawn, you're in the enemy spawn, or you're stuck in between in what I call no man's land, where you are doomed to die. And so every match basically just turns into a huge cross-map standoff, which is very boring for me, but that's personal preference. You might like it. I'm just saying that's what it is. It is your spawn, enemy spawn, the area in between. Some people enjoy that, I don't. I like Mirage. Good flow, but the spawns need to be tweaked a bit. The problem, and I don't complain about spawns a lot, but the problem is that the lines of sight outside of that main temple are so long that you can get spawned on from like a mile away, So it's not that you're spawning too close to the enemy, but you're spawning in their field of vision, which is very problematic and very frustrating at times. Downhill is neat, but I don't like the skylifts. Not the skylifts. What do you call them? the ski lifts. Sorry, I confused my I's and my Y's. Originally, I thought you would be able to ride in them, which would have been freaking sweet. Like if the ski lifts had traveled in between A and C flag, or the two spawns in general, that would have been epic, and you could ride into enemy territory, and you're fighting from the top of the ski lift, and people are throwing grenades at you. Maybe you can hit a switch that turns the ride off and on, so the enemy turns off the switch, and you have to fight for your life up there, and you're screaming at your friends to turn the switch back on so you can get the fuck off. You know you're up there with the flag and capture the flag. You know, people are going to go apeshit on the ground. That would have been epic. But as it is, it's just downright stupid, monotonous, and annoying. The things are going all of 2 miles per hour, and if they touch you, you die instantly. All it does is catch you off guard and instantly kill you. And then it pisses you off hell bad. It has no positive benefit to the pace, enjoyment, or tactics of the game. Turned is stupid. You saw I posted a guide to it. It's the new game mode where you can be the zombie. And I stand by what I said in that guide, which is it's just there for the kids who want to be zombies. That have wanted to be zombies since Black Ops 1. Which is very few, but, you know, it sounds cool in theory. If they'd put it on maps like Town or Farm, that would have been cool. You know, it's on the multiplayer engine, and what would have been neat is if you could have a 12-man lobby. Like, you know, you have 1 human and 11 zombies, or 2 humans and 10 zombies, and you could play on a map like Die Rise. That would have been epic if you could play Turned with 12 people on Die Rise. I would have loved that. But as it is, you're restricted to Diner, alright? Which is like the most boring map in the game. And if you're a human, basically it comes down to holding off in one of the 2 wide open spaces on either side of the map, or you're gonna die instantly. And even then, you can only hold off for so long before you die. And there's only 4 people, and there's not very much creativity in how you can play it. So I don't like Turned. Die Rise, however, is the best map in Zombies history. It is also the most difficult by far. It's basically just a huge maze filled with a lot of tricky obstacles, like leaping from building to building and riding the elevators, and the elevators crush you on the roof, and you can fall to your death. It's a very, very hard map. It's very dangerous. It has very epic sequences where you're platform diving down the shafts. And it has very epic scenery, too, which I know a lot of people don't care about, but I thought it was cool. You know, there's fucking asteroids up in the sky, and asteroids hitting the ground, and buildings collapsing. It's pretty cool. And on top of that, it's a traditional zombies map, which I'm very pleased with. You know, you fight rounds of zombies, and then every couple of rounds there's a special group of enemies. It used to be dogs, now it's ninja crawlers. They drop the max ammo. And, you know, this new outside-of-the-box stuff they were doing that started with Moon in Black Ops 1, and now it's Transit. It's neat, it's a solid addition to the franchise, but it wasn't for me, because it stopped being, for me anyways, an arms race where you use your intellect to outmatch a puzzle that gets harder with every victory. It had become more of a, you know, you're with your friends, and it's basically like, okay, somebody go find the fucking guide on YouTube so we can get out of here. And don't get me wrong, I played a lot of Transit, and obviously this is a personal preference thing, but the new map is traditional zombies. Its content is more similar to Kino der Toten than anything else. The physical map itself is similar to Shangri-La, sort of, because it's just so narrow and confined, and it's sort of maze-ish. Though it is 10 times harder than Shangri-La. It is 10 times harder to find your way around. It is 10 times more compact, and it is 10 times more dangerous. And Shangri-La I'd considered the most challenging zombies map up until this point. So those are my thoughts. There's probably some disagreement, and if so, you know, yell at me and thumbs down the video and whatever gets that burning range out of your system. In the next DLC, I want a shotgun. This is Batman signing out.